Hey everybody, it's Tom Cherryhomes with the FujiNet project. And I wanted to give a video showing a little tour of running BBS Express Pro 5.0 hosting on a FujiNet. As a production note aside, some of you were noting that the noise gate in my last few videos has been a bit too enthusiastic, so I have removed it. With that, let's go ahead and continue. We start off here in Sparta-DOS X 4.49. We start here because this is best where the FDisk program actually runs. We'll see that we actually have an Ultimate 1MB SID E3 plugged into the cartridge slot, and right now it's taking over drive 1. If we take and do a directory on drive 1, we can see my BBS Express installation here. It's a 16 megabyte partition, 256 byte sectors taking over everything needed, but you'll notice that it also has a boot file for Sparta-DOS 3.3, which is the version of Sparta-DOS that seems to run best with BBS Express 5.0. If you use anything else, it complains about that. So with that, if we just take a look, you'll see that there's nothing particularly special in FDisk, except that we have here our BBS Express partition, and we set it up as drive 1 with 256 byte sectors. This is important because you want to be able to boot from it, and Sparta-DOS 3.2 cannot handle 512 byte sectors. So you have to go in and explicitly set that here. We're just going to leave here. We don't need to do anything special. Yeah, go ahead and leave. And I'm going to flip my mode ever so slightly back so that we can boot from Sparta-DOS 3.3 here. For whatever reason, on my 1200XL setup, it's rather unique to my 1200XL setup. It doesn't happen anywhere else. I have to boot Sparta-DOS X in Altera OS 3.2. If I try to use any version of the standard XL DOS, weird things start happening. I do not know why. I'd like to figure out why. But I'll put it back. We'll turn off Sparta-DOS X, and once I exit, it will actually boot into Sparta-DOS 3.3, and because I have a startup BAT file which loads the BBS, it will immediately do so. Now you'll notice that that work loaded pretty quickly. The next question some of you may have is, can you run this directly off of the FujiNet on a disk image on the FujiNet? The answer is yes. Just a bit slower because serial isn't as fast. It's, whatever, it's fine. So with that, we wind up going into BBS Express. We initialize the modem, and then we can basically take a call. Now, before we do that, I'm actually going to take and go through a little bit of the system configuration behind this before we actually start diving into it. I'll go ahead and hit the reset key. I'm not sure if this is the right way to do it, but we wind up back at a Sparta-DOS command prompt. Again, if we do a directory, we see all the bits and pieces here. I have text40 and text80 directories. I think those might actually need to be moved into the Pro directory. Not sure. But they're just ancillary files at this point. We start off with startup. There's not much there. You just call the BBS and BBS BAT. And if we look at each line in turn, first thing we do is we call time, which is ape time, to grab the network time protocol from the FujiNet and set appropriately. The second thing we do is we call the R handler. I don't really see a need to take and do a handler bootstrap here, since we're just going to use the handler as is. RHND850 is the handler all in one binary. It just loads faster. Then we take and call a utility, an FNC utility called rlisten. Rlisten tells the FujiNet to open up a TCP server connection on the modem and have it listen to port 6502. At this point, the modem is ostensibly active, and if for whatever reason, if we're dealing with the modem and we pick up a call and there's already a call in progress, then we send a vacation message saying, okay, somebody's already here, please try again later, and then disconnect. But this sets up the listening port so that the BBS will function. We then turn off the basic. Since we don't need it, we turn off the key buffer since it interferes with BBS Express Pro. We turn on and load the time and date line up top because BBS Express uses that for status purposes. We then go to Pro and immediately launch the BBS software, which puts us in mind ready to answer calls. Furthermore, if we go into sysedit, by going into the Pro directory and going into sysedit, opening up the sysedit file, we take a look at some of the system parameters. The only ones that really make most difference are parameter F, which is the interface type. You've got a couple of different options: 850, PRC, and MIO-BB. MIO-BB seems to work the best. It's stable, it just works, and as you'll see in just a moment, it's configured for 9600 baud, and it's just rock solid. And yes, there's the secondary password to the BBS here. Big whoop, this thing is not in production. Whatever. Nothing too special about things like the drive parameters and whatnot. I have one message board, one email, and everything's on drive 1. Main commands, everything pretty much stock. File sigs here, whatever, just created one. System baud rates. And I literally just lock everything at 9600 baud. Seems to work well enough. I'd like to try 19.2, but I won't do that in this video. Miscellaneous parameters. I just set to ASCII to ASCII. I set my own little colors here. This is my little color scheme right here. Looks good. I don't have, since ExpressNet's kind of not really relevant here, I just didn't bother setting it here. The event scheduler is pretty much as stock. All we're doing is running whomaint after each call. And that's it. We exit the sys data editor, save the file, and we're done. Now, with this, I'm actually going to tap reset on the FujiNet here, because one of the interesting things that happens with the TCP stack, when you set up a listening socket, when you close that listening socket, you cannot rebind to it for another 3 minutes. If you try to rebind to that same socket again by running rlisten again, ostensibly, by doing an immediate reboot or whatnot, you'll find that the socket doesn't bind. I'm trying to work around this, but for now at least, the best way to work around this, if you need to do an immediate reboot, is to basically reset your FujiNet, which resets the TCP stack and everything else in it, and sets everything back up again so you can load. I'll go ahead and do a cold start. And we will find ourselves back at the BBS Express here, and after a few moments of banging on the modem to send it an initialization string, which is ironic. This is one of the things that really kind of confuses me as to why even in this age, right here at this late date, there was no parameter to set the modem initialization string. Why? Why was the modem initialization string hard-coded into the damn program? It makes no sense. Whatever. So we're waiting for a phone call. And with that, we will go ahead and go into my trusty Altera, which is already booted up into Bob Term here. And we shall try to log in. Oop, let me make sure that my window's focused. Because Altera's modem emulation does not handle ASCII line endings, I have to be careful not to press backspace and to explicitly hit Control M to dial the phone. That's so cute. And as we can see right here, if we actually take and look through here, we'll see that BBS Express has basically tabbed off here while this gets displayed. I'm at 1200 baud right now. Let me actually take and log back in. Looks like I need to make a welcome screen. I'm going to go ahead and hang up. Let's see if I can. Goodbye. You'll see right here, bam, it senses that everything is hung up, and it will reset itself quite nicely. So thus far, it's working very stably, and I've done a lot of tests in this area at different points, making sure that we hang up at different points to test and make sure that the BBS doesn't get hung. It doesn't. And this is partially due to the fact that BBS Express periodically pulls itself out of concurrent mode to take and do status polls to check the status of the carrier detect, which we properly report. So we're good. Let me change the baud rate. Go to 9600 baud and try this again. And this time we'll see it actually pick up. Really? Okay. We'll see right there, 9600 baud connection, all good. Okay. Normal ASCII, sure. And we'll log in. We'll see that this actually happens just fine. Okay. And I'm just logging in. You can, the new users and visitors, everything works great. You just have to set up the user permissions properly. And you'll see right there. It's doing extremely well here. Just as a test, we'll go ahead and go into the message bases for sure. Why not? Oop, reply. Sure. And then, yep. So you see all that's working just fine. We'll exit out, bang. Go to the browse here. And there's the Atari 8-bit right there. And we'll look at some files. Browse files with descriptions. Let's take a catalog. See what we got to look for. Okay. I don't know. Maybe I'll pick up a copy of MODEM 6.3. It's been so long since I've looked at this. Who the hell knows? Yeah, download. Which file? Bing. Am I? Okay, guess I'll upload something. What's you here? Oh, unarc. Okay. Excuse me. Quit. Upload. Yeah, sure. And we'll use YModem for this, since that's all I can support. You'll notice that the 1200 XL now goes quiet. We shall go and let's see what other weird things I got here. I'll just send, fuck it, I'll send that. Let's see, send 5. README, sure. And then we'll take and select and send a transfer. And we'll see that. Here we go. And we're transferring. Bam, there we go. We'll place that in that first little download sig right here. You'll see that it came back up here. And we'll come back to our duplicate view here. Place in download sig 1. Yep. Yeah, my great file descriptives. I know. So with that, let's see if I can browse those file descriptions again and see if we can grab something on the other end. Sure. Am I? Oh, you bastard. Okay, fine. I will validate it just to do it. Oops. Exit. Just let me have, and let me do this. Sure. There we go. And let's see if that will bring my download ratio up to enough where I can actually do something. Actually, exit that. Do that again. Catalog. Oops. Now let's chat. No. My bad. Yeah, sorry. No answer. Appreciate that. We shall instead... what happened there? Are we okay? Okay. So, call now. So, browse. Now let's see if I can do... Where's the catalog? Where was that catalog? I literally forgot. I'm over my ratio. It will not let me download. This was working, but now it's just not letting me gonna download. Oh well, so much for trying to show this here. Looks like I just need to alter the upload and download ratios. Whatever. But downloads do work too. So I guess with that, we'll basically end this here. There's more to do, but you can see that it's working just fine. And you saw a little bit of the configuration options required for this to actually work. So now the BBS cleans up, temporarily suspends the modem, so that it can do a who maintenance. And then immediately comes back. Boom. Okay, so there we go. That's where we're at right now with this. I just wanted to show this actually working. Next up is to try and modify Karina 2 so that it will behave appropriately. I seem to have difficulty because the versions of Karina that I'm finding are heavily modified for specific setups, and quite simply don't seem to be all that stable. Forum XE seems to work okay, but it requires a basic XE cartridge, and juggling all of that, getting a system configuration all literally put up together for that so that it can run is a bit interesting, to say the least. But at least with here, you see an existing board that was running back in the day, running here using nothing more than a FujiNet to bounce out on and handling the network connectivity. And just to show that it's indeed that it continues to accept calls, we'll do it one more time. Let's try it and see what happens. We're going to take and do a new but non-permanent. No, it's going to be a visitor. No, it's not. We'll go ahead, set ourselves up for visitor. All good to go. No messages found. Let me see if I can browse files. See if it will let me do this, because I think I set my download permissions appropriately. Let's see. File area 1, list. Oh, okay, so I don't have access to that. Never mind. But I can upload files. Okay. Looks like I just need to change the file security again. So we'll go ahead. Goodbye. Yes. No. So far, so good. So you can see it works just fine. Take the modem off hook. Bam, bam, bam. Update. And there we are. So I'll end the video here. If you guys have any questions, of course, you guys can hit me up on the Facebook group, the FujiNet users group, or the Atari 8-bit group on Facebook. You can also message me on Twitter at Chuck909. You can also message me on Atari Age, again, Chuck909, and a number of other places. Feel free to ask questions. I would like to see more of these actually running. And more importantly, I'd like to actually see a new BBS using the end socket, which can potentially handle multiple users. But with that, we'll end it here. And until next time, guys, have fun.